Hi friends, fellow woodturners. Richard Ford here, coming to you from Nova Scotia, Canada. This little project all started when I went to watch a demo by Leo Westhaver on how he makes his fabulous finials, and I was very impressed with the finials. Not that I have an immediate need for a finial, but I wanted to see if I could make one, and I thought about it for a while and came up with a little bit different idea than what Leo uses, and I made this finial. Well, that was the start of another journey, because when my wife saw this finial, she immediately remembered some wooden flowers that I'd made years ago, which have now been sort of given away, and said, "Oh, you could make some flowers." That got me thinking about how I could make some flowers, and that's what this demonstration is going to be about, is my journey down that road making flowers. And these are the sort of flowers that I've ended up making. They've evolved a little since these, and now this one is not coloured yet, but gives you an idea of what I'm heading for. So I thought I'd make a video of this and post it, and could be used as a demo in our club maybe. And if anyone else has been thinking of making some flowers, this is a possible way to do it. So we'll sit back now and I'll take you on my journey of making flowers.
Safety. It's a big thing in the workshop. If you don't feel safe doing something, or you just don't feel comfortable, don't do it. You're the only person who can keep you safe. And if you don't do it, no one else can.
Today I'm going to show you how I make these little wooden flowers, combining some wood turning and laser engraving. So it all starts with a blank that's 1.5 inches square and a tad over 4 inches, about just under 4.25. Could be any length really, you just make shorter flowers. But this length allows me to make them as tall as I want to make them. So the first thing to do is to make it round, and to put a tenon on one end so I can hold it in the collet chuck. We're going to use a spindle roughing gouge, a little short, nice spindle roughing gouge that I have. A homemade skew kind of gouge, just made from a piece of high-speed steel. Parting tool to set the diameter, and some calipers which I have set at the dimension I want for the collet chuck. Okay. That's about it. Just bulk removal really. Perfect. Then I'll just carry on and do the rest of them. Okay, to take it from a roughed out blank to a piece that's ready for the engraver to engrave the petals and any designs. I put it in a collet chuck, tighten it up, and lock it up. Right. Yeah, right, fairly true. I'll just true up the outside, make sure we've got no flats left or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. Little homemade skew. Feels pretty good. The radius on it. On the bottom. See how deep we want to drill it. Just about there. That's just about the ends of these touching there. Little force and a bit. Speed about 800. There we go. Just true that up, that outside edge again, because the drill may have knocked it off a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. I have a little termite tool here in a round bar, a little handle on the end, held at about 45. And I find a nice flat platform that supports the round bar is a big advantage. Keeps this the same all the way in, all the way out. Get that down to about just about 1/8, I would think. Thickness, more thickness. There. And So we've done the outside, we've done the bore, we've turned it, we've hollowed it. Now eventually it's going to have a stem put in it, into this end of the flower. So I'm going to drill the hole for that now. I have a spindle turning gouge that's the same diameter as the dowels I have. Now the only thing left to do before engraving is to mark how deep this is. So how deep we drilled it. This is a reference point for engraving. This is all ready now to engrave the petals and any design on the petals that you choose to put on there. There. Here's my laser desk. Here's the laser. It's a Creality Falcon 2. That's a 23 watt laser, and you can see I have the chuck rotary installed on it. And what this does is, instead of this y-axis moving up and down like this, the rotary will rotate. So you fix the position centrally over the chuck rotary, and the rotor will rotate and this head will go this way. The x-axis will go left and right, just as if it was on a flat surface and it was going like this. So we have to set it up, and I use Lightburn to do that. This is the typical Lightburn screen. This is the work area, the area that I can engrave on my engraver. And you can see that this is in a two-dimensional flat design, and you can store designs in the art library. Here's the art library. And so you can select a design. Say we select this one, or maybe this one. No, we'll do the next one. This one. And you can drag a copy out onto your desk here. We'll minimize this again. Get it out the way. We'll center that in the art library. So here is a design of mine which shows 4 petals, and on each petal is a design of a deer looking back over its shoulder and a deer head. But you can see that this is going to be where it's engraved. It will actually be around this way, and the petals will be cut here, and I have a steel center extension here to hold the other end when it's in the chuck. But what you have to do is make the height of this, the height of your design from here. Well, we'll just select it. You can see these little handlers here. The height of it is now 112.466. Okay. Now if I measure .58, 35.58 is the diameter of this. 35.58. We need to know the circumference. Lightburn fortunately has a little thing for doing this here. 35.58. I think that's what it was. Just check again. 35.58, yes. Okay, so we put 35.58 here in the object diameter, and it tells us the circumference. Okay, so we know we need 114.071. 114.071. We set this here to 114.071 and enter. Okay, so now when we select this object now, we have 114.071 height. So the height of the design in Lightburn is the same as the circumference around here. So when it's gone round one circle, it will join up this end with this end. The two ends will join together if we've done everything right. So we're going to engrave the petals. First we'll engrave the deer, then we'll cut the petals, and then we'll cut a straight line which will cut off the piece that we haven't used of the cylinder, and it will cut off a little piece like this that we haven't used. So that's the plan. We have to make sure that we're going to do things in the right order, so you can preview in Lightburn and you can, at a given speed, you can play it just as if it's going to cut, and you can see, I'll speed it up a little bit, that it's cutting out the deer images first of all, the 4 deer images, then it's going to cut around the petals, then it's going to cut off the end. So we know we're set up in our layers that they'll work in the right order, the way we want them to work. Okay, that's the first cut, that's the last cut, and then we should have 16 in here. There, that's the deer, and each one of them has a different speed and power setting that you set to suit the material. Okay, so I'm going to install this now in the chuck rotary, and then we'll cut one. Okay, you can see that I have the little blank mounted in the chuck rotary. Now we have to set the focus height. Have a little gauge for that. There. So we've set the height. Now we're going to set the start position here. The X. I have a line down here, and remember we put a line around the blank showing the depth of the hole. Now we just line up so they were directly over the center of the chuck rotary. The y-axis won't move again, it'll just go this way and the rotor will rotate. And now we'll close the door on the enclosure and bring you back round to the screen here. We also have a camera inside the console here, and we saw a preview within Lightburn, just a software preview of it. Here we can watch the actual movement. Now, in the laser controls, I've told the system here where the laser is positioned. I'm using current position. I'm saying the current position of the laser is right here at the top right corner of the design. So I'm telling Lightburn the current position of the laser is where the top right corner of the design is located. And you know the design, you know the dimensions, and the height is a circumference, one rotation, so it knows how much to rotate. So now all we have to do is tell it to just put the exhaust fan on, blow the smoke away, tell it to start. It thinks it might be out of bounds because we're using current position. I say no, it's okay, go ahead. And you can see it moving. You can see the rotary down underneath rotating. So it's now burning the design of those deer on there. And it's going to take nearly 5 minutes, I guess, to do this design. And the laser is very hot. That's why I shut the door. It's very dangerous. It will blind you in less time than you can blink your eyes shut. It can blind you. So it's very important not to look at the laser, not to let anybody look at the laser. Pets as well. Now I'm going to speed this up a little bit so that it's not so boring. But in real life, we just have to wait. Another thing you have to think about is fire. The laser is very hot, and we're providing all the ingredients for fire. We've got wood, we've got heat on it, and we've got a nice draft created by the extraction fan. Yeah, and we're done. There, you can see the result of our labour. We'll just take that out. And we can see there's the end that came off. And here we see we have the little pieces burned out that make the petals. Take this center out. So there. I still think I'm a little bit strong here. I'm going right through the wood for the engraving. I don't have to, so it's just an adjustment on the cut layer. There. That's how we do it. Next thing is I'll go back to the lathe and I'll sand all this, sand that nice, inside and outside, and then I'll part it off and we'll end up with something that looks like this. Here's another one. That kind of thing. And we'll put a stem in it, in the bottom, and we'll colour them. And varnish them, and they'll look quite nice. So here we have one of our engraved flowers. Going to mount it in the collet chuck. First we're going to sand it, and then we'll part it off down through here with this little narrow homemade parting tool. It's just made from a reciprocating saw blade. This was the edge that had the teeth, so it's the hardened edge. So I just ground the teeth off on a belt sander, and then typical grind on a 40-degree platform with the point down low when you use it. This will be the bottom. This will rest on the tool rest like that. And to keep this edge clean around the radius, I'll just tip it a little bit and keep that up against there as I part through to part it off. First we'll sand it. First we'll give it a little bit of clearance. Remember there's a hole in the middle, so it will part off before you get all the way through. There. Now. Hi. Well, we've made our flower tops. Now we've got to assemble them and colour them. And I use these craft dowels from the dollar store, in a package of about 10 of them. I think it was $1.50 or maybe $2, I'm not sure. And the first thing I do is I colour these. I'll turn the camera down so that you can see the process. It's very simple. I have a glove on my left hand, and I have a bingo and a green one. I colour the stems green. I just lay them on this little piece of plywood here, and just like that. I don't try and be neat, I just try and cover everything. Because if you look at a stem of a flower, it's not a uniform colour, it's, you know, it's got its dark spots and light spots. So, similarly to nature, there. And then I put it aside to dry. Now the next phase, next step, is to take your flower, your completed flower. Take my glove off for this. Oh, I'll be getting green paint, green colour on it. And put a little drop of wood glue in the hole. Take one of your dry dowels and insert it in the hole, twisting it, and I'll put my thumb inside to feel when it's all the way in. There. There. Simple as that. There. So we do that. Set them aside to dry. Keep the glue off my hands. I don't want to get glue on them. When I stain them, the glue would affect the penetration of the stain. So, need a rag, nice clean rag, to wipe your hand off between each one. Now, some are tighter than others. There. It's a good tight one. Now, no matter what colour it is, this is just some cheap 50% rubbing alcohol. Three tablespoons. We'll try lavender, I think. So if I have that, that's 7 and 5. 7 drops of red. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 drops of blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is supposed to be lavender. Lavender. All right. Yeah, maybe it is. Okay, lavender. Let's do this one here. Oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah. I think that's pretty nice. What do you think? There's a lavender one. So the yellow's very nice, and I like the pink, and the lavender's good, and I like red. Red's a nice colour. Yeah. Well, it's the next day now, and these flowers that we coloured with food colouring yesterday have dried, and I think they look really pretty. Here's one with a horse on it. Came out pretty nice. I don't know if I can hold it still enough, or if I'm all shaky. But all these different pretty colours came from those 3 little bottles of food colouring, and on the package it gave the number of drops of the different colours to produce whatever colour you wanted. So from 3 bottles of food colouring, red, blue and yellow, I produced these. It's the first time I've used food colouring, and it's worked out pretty well. The first flowers that I made in this method, I coloured the same as this, and then I sprayed them with lacquer from a rattle can. But I think these look really nice just like they are, and my wife seems to like them like they are. So these probably won't be sprayed with a lacquer, and if they are, it would probably be satin or something like that. Anyway, happy flower making. Hope you get to make some. If you do, send me a picture. Love to see them. Maybe send me a few tips if you see something that we can improve on. Okay, I guess that's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.